So you're bored with your workout plan. What comes next? Well, I may have the answer. Welcome to episode number 63 of the Fitness Hippie Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mark Torres, and in today's episode, we're talking about boredom. You've been doing your workout plan for an extended period of time, let's say months, and things are becoming repetitive and redundant. You're getting bored. You're getting sick of it. You feel like you need to switch up. You feel like you need to change. What comes next? What do you do now? Do you learn new exercises? Do you take some anatomy and physiology courses on YouTube to figure out different ways to move your body to hit certain muscles or muscle groups? Do you pack it in for a few weeks and say, I'm going to take a break. Maybe I'll come back rejuvenated, recharged, ready to go for my next bout of few months of working out? What is the best course of action if you're bored in the gym? And I think a lot of it has to do with where you are in your fitness journey. If you're a person who's just starting out in the gym, you're a beginner, you probably maybe only know one or two exercises per muscle group. You probably know the basics. So if you're in that position and things are getting a little bit boring for you, then yeah, I think you're in a position where you can learn some new things. There's still a lot out there to be discovered, especially if you only know one or two exercises per muscle group. There's definitely more out there for you to explore and for you to test and see what you like and don't like in the gym. But I just had this conversation with somebody recently. So they said, they came up to me and said, hey, I might need new exercises for my biceps because I've been doing biceps for a while now and it's getting a little bit boring. And I said, oh, okay, I can do that. What do you do for biceps already? And then they went on to spew about 17 different bicep exercises that they do in the gym. And it's probably more like 10. I'm a little bit hyperbolic sometimes. It probably said 10 different bicep exercises. I was like, holy shit, like you kind of run the gambit already of all the different bicep exercises out there. I don't know that there's anything new that I can give you that'll be exciting, that'll be a distinct change up for what you're doing already. And, you know, if you look at exercising in general, I guess there's technically an infinite amount of exercises that you can do in the gym. When you look at the bicep curl in and of itself, just a regular bicep curl, you can do it with dumbbells, you can do it with a barbell, you can do it with an easy bar. You can do it with resistance bands. You can do it with a kettlebell. You can do it with a weight plate. You can do it with, they've got these bicep boards now that kind of look like snowboards, but with grooves for weights. If I find a picture, I'll put it in here. You kind of hold your hand flat and you do bicep curls like that. You can do it on a cable with the flat bar. You can do it on a cable with an easy bar. They've got fucking bicep blaster, the armband things now. They've got a whole bunch of different gadgets that you can do that'll help you do bicep curls in different manners, right? Just in the regular bicep curl alone, that's like 8 or 9 different variations of one single variation of a dumbbell bicep curl or a bicep curl in general. And then the moment that you go from being flat-handed to putting your thumbs up in the air and you start doing a hammer curl, now you can run the gambit of all those different exercise pieces of equipment again, right? The dumbbell works. You can do like almost like a hammer easy bar curl. You can do it on the cable. That's like another, 3, 4, 5 different variations right there. Not to mention the machines in the gym. Not to mention that things change when you go from standing up to sitting down. When you go from sitting down with a flat back to sitting down on an incline, that changes everything. All of a sudden, you've got like 20 different fucking bicep curl variations. You're like, wow, this is really, truly unlimited. And obviously, like the number of exercises that you can do is finite, right? It's not unlimited, of course. But then you can start to change up rep schemes. If you've ever done 21s in the gym, it's when you do 7, the bottom part of the bicep curl from like all the way down to halfway, and then you do 7 from halfway all the way up, and then you do 7 full ones. That's a 21. You've probably done those in the gym. Why not make it 24s? Why not make it 27s? Why not make it 30s? Why not do 10 of each, right? Those are all different variations and new wrinkles that you can put in your workout journey just when it comes to biceps. So there's technically like an infinite amount of exercises that you can do in the gym, or not even exercises, but like rep schemes and different things that you can do to add new wrinkles. But there's a very specific reason that when you go to a pizza shop, they probably only sell cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza, supreme pizza, and meat lovers. Like those are probably the core 4 topping varieties that most pizza places sell. They might have other ones like barbecue chicken, whatever, like lesser, less popular ones. But most pizza places will have those core 4 because I don't know how long pizza's been around, presumably hundreds of years, but over those hundreds of years, people have tried all these different pizza variations likely. You can go the Elf route. There's technically an infinite amount of pizzas that you can make. You can be like Elf, Will Ferrell Elf, and have a cheese pizza where you put maple syrup on it and gummy worms, and it's probably delicious.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
So technically there's an infinite amount of pizzas that you can make, but over the course of time, people know that cheese, pepperoni, meat lovers, supreme, nothing quite slaps like any of those. So you've got your core 4 pizza topping flavors, even though there's technically an infinite amount of pizzas that you can make. Those are the staples. The same thing happens in the gym. There's staple movements that you can do. There's technically an infinite amount of things that you can do for bicep curls, but there's a few. There's maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 different bicep curls variations that you'll probably ever use and that you ever may need to use. So I think through my deductive reasoning, because I didn't get very far in this conversation with the person before they had to leave and trek out, if I had to guess, this person probably did not fully manipulate the variations of biceps that they were already doing, right? So you might be in a situation where you find yourself getting bored in the gym. So for this particular person, maybe they were doing a regular bicep curl and they were doing 3 sets of 10 at 15 pounds. And they did that for an extended period of time and things felt great, but eventually they stopped making progress. They stopped getting as sore. They've plateaued. Their bicep gains disappeared after some time. And they're like, well, holy shit, I got to do something new. So they add a new exercise. So they're still doing the 3 sets of 10 at 15 pounds for the regular bicep curl, but then they add in a hammer curl. And they're like, holy shit, here comes all this variety and all this change that's happening again. I'm no longer plateauing. I'm making progress again because I've added a new workout into my arsenal of things. And then they kind of run that whole gambit again. Now they're doing 3 sets of 10 at 15 with the hammer curl as well. And eventually they're going to stop making progress there as well. They're like, well, shit, I've done one exercise. I've added a second exercise. I've stopped making progress. Guess what? It's time to add another one. Now they move to cables and they run the whole gambit of things again. When we talk about infinite amount of possibilities when it comes to exercises, there's an infinite amount of possibilities and ways to manipulate the exercises that you already have in your workout plan. So for this person, if they're used to doing 3 sets of 10 of a regular bicep curl with 15 pounds, guess what? Once that gets too easy, you go up to 17 and a halves, baby. You make that shit harder. Now your body is used to, you've already maximized the potential that your body has, that your biceps have for curling 3 sets of 10 at 15 pounds. If you never change that, your biceps will never get bigger or stronger because they have no reason to. They're already used to doing that. You've got to implement a change there. So that change could be going up by 2.5 pounds. If your gym has a 17.5 pound dumbbell, boom, that's your next step up. That is your wrinkle. That is the change that you need to continue to make progress. Once that gets too easy, boom, 20. Once that gets too easy, I don't know if your gym probably has 22.5 pound dumbbells because eventually they're going to start just jumping by 5s because that's way too many dumbbells to have. But maybe you make the jump from 20 to 25. Once it stops being feasible to make jumps like that because eventually your biceps are not just going to infinitely get stronger, you start adding reps. You get to 25, you're like, you know what? 30 is not happening, homeboy. 30 is not, I'm going to blow out a bicep. So instead of jumping from 25 to 30, you're doing 3 sets of 10 at 25. All of a sudden you add 2 reps. You're doing 3 sets of 12 at 25. That's the only wrinkle that you need. When we talk about an infinite amount of possibilities, there's an infinite amount of ways to manipulate just a regular bicep curl. And I think that once you've asked yourself, have I manipulated what I already have to the utmost potential? Because once you kind of max out the amount of weight that you can go up, and that's always going to change because your gym has, however many dumbbells that it has, it goes up to 100 pounds, 125 pounds. Not that you're going to dumbbell bicep curl 125 pounds, but you have all that runway of weights that you can use. Once you don't feel comfortable going up in weight, you go up in reps. Once you don't feel comfortable going up in reps anymore, let's say you get to 20 reps, you add a set. Once you don't feel comfortable adding sets anymore, you're like, I'm already doing 5 sets of 20, then you decrease the rest time that you have in between those sets. Once you don't feel comfortable decreasing the rest time between those sets, you're already resting for like 30 seconds a pop, then you can increase the time under tension. You can slow down while you're doing the movement. If you do your bicep curls at hyper speed, you slow it down. That's more tension that you're putting on your bicep for the same amount of weight and the same amount of reps and sets that you were already doing. You've got an infinite amount of ways to manipulate just one single variation of an exercise, and could get boring over time. But having that new wrinkle and having that new challenge week to week to week will hopefully stave off some of that boredom that you might feel in the gym. If you're doing the same shit over and over again, of course it's going to get boring. You're going to stop making progress. You're going to stop seeing results. You're going to stop feeling like things are new to you. But if you add that wrinkle, if you're constantly changing, if you're constantly making things harder on yourself and you're constantly adapting, you're always going to make progress, which is obviously ultimately what we are striving for. But that boredom ultimately, hopefully, gets taken out of the equation. So if you ask yourself if you've already manipulated whatever exercise that you have done to the utmost potential, you've already changed all the things that you can change, you've already maximized the potential of that particular exercise, then you can say, you know what? It might be time to add an exercise or to swap out an exercise here, and we can go from there. But for the most part, you've got these staples. These staples work. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Keep doing what you're doing. Once you kind of have maximized the potential, then you can start to add and change exercises. And once you get really good at this stuff, you can have like a couple exercises in your toolbox, and you can always just kind of like, work around all those different things, kind of do them all at different times of the week. That way you're not doing the same exercise all the way throughout, but you've got this exercise that you do one week, and then you do the other one the next week, and then you go back to the first one, and then you go back to the second one. You keep flip-flopping. You kind of make things a little bit easier on yourself, and you reduce that boredom that you might feel in the gym. So ask yourself, have I maximized the potential of what I'm doing right now? Have I changed it as much as I possibly can? If the answer is yes, then it's time to learn some new exercises. If not, look at what you're doing right now, see how you can manipulate it, and make your gym going experience that much less boring? ? If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at MTEFit. And if you're too lazy to find any of those things, you go to mtefit.com, hit the links tab, and everything that I've ever done is right there at your fingertips for you to consume and enjoy and to learn from. I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.